Hand it to me, I'm already down.
It's in the drawer in the back. I don't have it. Yeah, I'm.
Responsive during
Very
people's
sensitive
exigency.
time, yeah.
That's what my wife asks every single morning.
He has good care at home now.
They said they're gonna help her. No. But we're been for 3 months, we've been working on this.
Good evening. I'd like to call this city council meeting to order. We have council member Jacob, council member Worthing, council member Green, council member Whitelock, council member Bloom, council member Pack, and council member McConaughey, several members of staff, and the mayor, is online. So we welcome you here tonight. We are happy to have you. I see probably 2, maybe 3 West Jordan High School students getting their assignment done. So good for you. Welcome to our government on the local level. I'm glad you're here. The first item that we have is the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Quayle has agreed to do that. Just remember to push the button on the right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first order of business is public comment. If you're here in the audience, please feel free to come up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to address the council. You can speak to us on any subject. We don't respond back at this point. If you are online, feel free to push *9. If you're on telephone, if you're on Zoom, go ahead and raise your hand. I see no one online and no one's coming to the podium, so I will close public comment and come back for executive report. I should have asked the mayor earlier. Mr. Lee,
Hi, yes, I have a couple of things. First, I'd like to introduce Jamie Davidson, our Assistant City Administrator. I'm very excited. That's an understatement. I'm very excited to have Jamie here. Jamie was the City Manager of Orem most recently, incredibly well experienced, been the City Administrator of Lehigh and held numerous positions in local government management across Utah. He will assist with specifically public works, public utilities, community development, and economic development. This last week was his first week, just started with the new year, and it's already a big relief to me, and I feel a big sense of support, and I'm hoping we can support you as a council and bring things back to you a little bit quicker as we have a little more bandwidth. So thank you for that position in the budget, and we're very happy to have Jamie here. I'd like Brian to give you an update on some things happening on 70th South, and I'd also like Isaac to give you an update about the City Hall remodel as well.
do we want to hear Brian on 7,000 South?
Thanks, Council Chair and Council. Just a quick update on a project we're going to be working on there. No road closures. I'll tell you that now. But a couple years back, there was a hot crossing put in on 70th and 3420. Before that hot crossing was put in for pedestrians, there was 2 overhead school speed limit signs. Those are still in place. They don't meet the MUTCD standard. Those will be being removed. They're dysfunctional as anyway as we speak. The power will be being disconnected tomorrow, and then we're working with the county to have those removed. So if you see them gone, the hot crossing's taken those signs place. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up.
Okay,
Thank you.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are there crossing guards at that spot with the hot crossing? There's not. Okay.
Nope.
Thanks. Wait, before you go. There's been a whole lot of yap on Facebook recently. So I just want to make sure that I understand 7800 South project over there by Copper Rim. That's currently in pre-design phase and we're
It's
ready
moving
to.
in that direction, yes.
And
It's-
we're
the
getting ready to
environmental's done.
try to get the design firm on
Mhm.
contract so that
Correct.
we can try to get the design done later this year. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We do now have another engineer and a traffic engineer. It took us 6.5 months to get those positions hired. So hopefully we're getting back on track with some of these projects. So,
Cool.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, love the tie, man.
Thank you, council. Just a couple updates. City Hall, the last couple of weeks have been pretty strenuous over there. We've opened up some walls and found a few things that are causing some changes. Some more. What's that? No dead bodies.
value
No
engineering is the
bodies.
pass.
Value engineering at its best. Couple of those that I want to make sure that you're aware of. The first is in the council chambers, with the changing of building codes over time, we have to add an additional layer of fireproofing on it's on the interior wall above the ceiling and then across the ceiling and down the hallway on the 3rd floor to meet the current fire rating standards. Because you guys have all seen all of the angles and beams up there and how tight it is. We've been looking at other options to fireproof that. We've gotten approval from our building official to use a spray coating. It has to meet a spec and standard, and it'll be inspected once the contractor comes in and puts it in. But that's one change that we're addressing right now. The bigger one is about 6 or 7 years ago, a new chiller was added to the city hall. But all the infrastructure was left the same. They were installed together where if one was on, the other one couldn't be on. You had to turn one off and turn the other one on. Well, the smaller one that was original, it's the original chiller in the building. But as we've been working with the mechanical engineer to put new pumps down there, they found that the inlets, the pipes that send the cool water over and pull the hot water back over to the cooling system are underrated. So instead of their current 4-inch, we're going to be changing those to 6-inch to allow the bigger chiller to push the amount of fluid it needs to cool down. We are not going to go underground. We're going to go through the ceiling on the first floor, then down the side of the building and underneath the road over to the chiller tower. But it's still going to be a process to do that. Right now, we're waiting on some response from the structural engineer to make sure it can hold the 2 6-inch steel pipes and the pressurized system that'll be up there. But those are two of the things that have happened in the last couple of weeks. The other one is, I'm sure you are aware of the power outage that we had last week. That was not part of the project. It was not part of, it was actually in the Rocky Mountain Power system that caused that. We found that years ago, there was a splice done between the transformer and City Hall. They actually used a different size wire from the one where they spliced. It's a smaller wire from the splice to the building. And that's what caused the failure. So that's been repaired. In the process though, we brought in a temporary switch panel that allowed them to move that out. So we won't have to do a future shutdown to pull out the old switch panel and put the new equipment in. So it will save us a little time down the road, but it was something we weren't planning on doing for 6 to 8 weeks. So any questions?
So what's the target date? What's the target date for completion? Are we still close?
We have the other building till October, and I'm doing everything I can to get us in there much sooner than that. Is that vague enough?
Which year?
Good question.
2023. 2023. Our contractors are doing a great job of trying to balance and move things around. But some of these changes, for example, the chiller system, it's taken us 2 weeks to figure out what it was going to require and what our options were. And we met yesterday to talk about those and move forward. And now it's a matter of getting the equipment or the supplies that we need to do the work once the structural engineer gives us the go ahead.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
I think.
That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Did you want time?
Yes, I have a couple of updates I'd like to share with you, if I may.
Okay.
First of all, I want to thank the council for joining Copper Hills at their Copper Hills Parkway renaming celebration. That was a fantastic turnout, and the school is thrilled to have a new street name. So thank you for your support with Copper Hills on getting that street name changed and helping them in their celebration. Also, earlier this week, I attended a Lincoln Day dinner over at the Miller Conference Center. And last night, I attended the Utah Latino Christian Leaders Summit 2023 up at the state capitol and represented our city there. And there were a couple other mayors in attendance as well. This morning, meet with Dr. Arthur Brooks. It was a discussion we had with other leaders with Utah League of Cities and Town. And it was a small group, so we could ask him questions and learn some things. And a lot of the items we talked about is the quality of life in Utah and across the United States, and some of his reasons why he thinks the quality of life isn't doing quite so well as it was 10 years ago. And those I hope to follow up with you on future discussions on things we can do in our city to help improve the quality of life here that we learned from that meeting there this morning. Also, earlier today, had an opportunity to attend the Jordan Education Foundation Donor Appreciation Luncheon, and it was good to see you there too, Council Chair Whitelock, in support of them. This is the branch organization that does the fundraising for the school district and helps them do extracurricular activities and helps with things like, as they talked about today, some of the refugees who have come into the school system that need some help with clothing and food and other things like that. A couple of upcoming events that you should be aware of, and I'm sure you are, but if not, it'll be good to know. This Sunday is Nancy Long's Celebration of Life. She was the one that got Gardner Village started. That'll be held at the gathering place at Gardner Village. We have two officers, Officer Savette, who are going to be receiving on Monday the NAACP First Responders Award. And that's pretty cool that those two awards are going to officers here from West Jordan. And then on January 18th, Wednesday, is the Utah League of Cities and Towns Local Officials Day. And I'm hoping several of you can be up on the Capitol for that event. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, next on our agenda is a public hearing for Resolution 23-003, approving substantial amendments to the Community Development Block Grant. Ms. Steck, is it you or Ms. Elgin? Okay, come on it.
Oh, faster than I thought, sorry. This resolution proposes to you a new plan or action plan for program year 2019 CARES Act funding as administered by HUD. When we first rolled this out, this plan, there were a lot of the public service agencies that we offered funding to assist in their coronavirus remediation efforts, whether it was housing or temporary housing or rents or those kinds of things. What we have found is that a lot of those funds were not able to be used now, and they're now ineligible to be used for that same purpose. We are still eligible to use those funds to support the senior food program and restaurant grant assistance program, which has been a very popular program in our community. And we would like to extend the services. So we have notified all of the public services of the change. If they had provided us with invoices or had services that they hadn't billed, we asked for them to get them all in, which is why you got last minute numbers yesterday. We got the final invoices and did our new numbers yesterday. But what we're doing is we're reducing their allocations and increasing the restaurant grant program. We believe this funding will allow that program to work at least through April, but we're hoping that it will go a little bit longer. That will at least get our seniors through that winter time when RSV and flu and COVID are out there a little more prevalently, and allows them to receive services from our restaurants as well. So we're asking for you to approve resolution number 23003, changing the action plan. That's all this does. It will allow us to start those programs into play again. However, in February, when we bring you a budget amendment, we will also be amending the budget as well. So this will be the piece that we need for HUD, and then we will do the formal budget amendment in February.
Any questions for Ms. Steck? First, Vice Chair Green, then Council Member McConaughey.
So we don't have to do the budget amendment now. I just don't want to get in trouble with John on the Hill.
I appreciate that sincerely. What we are required to do is, as your finance director, I'm allowed to move between operations. So I'm allowed to move in operational lines, and we have plenty of space to do that within the CDBG operations overall. So thank you for asking. Appreciate that.
Move to approve resolution 20.
Oh, hang on, it's a public hearing.
Oh,
We need to
sorry.
hold that first, but thank you.
Nice job, Chris.
So I will see no one else. So I will open the public hearing. If you're here to speak on this, or if you're joining us online to speak to the block grant for senior meals, please either raise your hand in the chat or push *9. Or if you're in here, come up to the podium. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and go to Councilmember McConaughey for a motion.
All right, well, despite Councilmember Green baiting me a little bit earlier, I'll go ahead and move to approve resolution 23-003.
Councilmember Worthen.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember McConaughey, a second by Councilmember Worthen. Ms. Quick, vote, please.
Vice Chair Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen,
Yes.
Councilmember Pack,
Yes.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
And Chair Whitelock.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes 7-0.
And I neglected to give time to speak to that motion. Does anyone want to comment on that motion before we move on? It's a great program that helps our elderly in our city and our local restaurants. So it's a really great program. Thank you to you and Ms. Elgin for your work on that and whoever else.
And-
Vice
and-
Chair Green.
We'll just make sure the staff knows, we actually did get, at least I got one email from
We all
seniors.
did. Yeah.
So it obviously impacts people.
The next,
We've seen lots of press on this as well. So not only is our residents are not only grateful to you, but they are speaking out to other communities, grateful for this program as well. Thank you.
thank you. The next item on our agenda is to select a chair and then a vice chair. So I will go down the line one way the first time and the other way the second time and ask. Before I do that, I'm going to go to Ms. Hanson to explain the process for tonight.
So council members, you will be receiving an email that will include the link for each election. So you'll have one for council chair, should there be a runoff link and so on. What we have done is we have made it so you'll enter your code and then that will grant you access to selecting a chair or vice chair nominee. And what Cindy will do is she'll come by and you'll pick a code out of this envelope. And we know what numbers are in the envelopes, but we obviously won't know who has which number. So keep it secret, keep it close. And that way we know that everyone has voted who should be voting without knowing your votes itself. Any questions about that process? Perfect.
Thank you. Rodney, I don't think my battery's charging and I don't want it to go out during a vote. Would you mind coming and look at that? All right, while he's looking at my device for me, I'm going to start with Councilmember McConaughey, and if we'll just go down the line, and if you'll just express if you would like to be in the selection process, you want to put your name in.
Yes.
Okay, Councilmember Pack,
No.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
I'm a no. Councilmember Green,
No.
is she there?
She's right over there.
Oh, okay, Councilmember Jacob.
No.
All right, so we have two names. Councilmember McConaughey and Councilmember Bloom. Is there anyone else that I've missed? Councilmember Pack, your light's on.
Sorry, Chair.
Okay, seeing no one else. Ms. Hanson, we will be ready for the selection process. They're folded a lot. Have you sent the email? No. Okay, you're working on it. Okay. For our students, each January in the first meeting, according to our code and our council bylaws, it rules, it says that we will choose a chair and a vice chair. And the chair and the vice chair are responsible for helping work with staff to set our agendas. And it looks like we have an email from Ms. Hanson, so. Where the heck is that? Oh, come on.
We need those little, hey, Rodney, we need those little privacy voting screens for next year.
In school, you call those offices. And they're usually just 3 pieces of poster board the teacher put together.
That's true. Yeah, but they make them, but they cost $150.
Mr. Anderson, when you've got the vote totals, if you'll let us know the outcome.
Yep, we're still gathering.
Okay.
Right? Same thing.
Remember, our mics are here. Thanks, Calvin.
It's not wrong.
So what you can learn from this, students, is we're just people, and we're all, we all have our own personalities, just like you guys. So we just sit in these chairs and
Did
try to
anyone
do
have
our
a problem
best.
with their code? Okay. I'm refreshing, but it's being mean to me. Give me one moment.
Am I going to need my code again? Okay. Okay.
I think the Qualtrics server is just being slow.
Okay. Well, the Federal Aviationist, FAA, they had a little bit of a hiccup today as well. So, maybe it's just. Yeah, not a good day to be catching a flight for sure. If you haven't heard, all of the flights had to be delayed and some were canceled because of a computer problem that they think was on the federal level. So while computers can be very helpful, sometimes it takes a while.
We do have 7 votes, and we have there are 5 votes for Councilmember McConaughey.
Okay. And just so everyone knows, we do this process of selection, and then we have a item on our agenda that's our business item as a resolution, and that's when we'll vote on these. But right now we're just selecting. So the next one is for vice chair, and seeing how I started on this end last time, I'm going to start on this end. Councilmember Jacob.
No.
Councilmember Worthen. Councilmember Green.
Yes.
I'm a no. Councilmember Bloom.
Yes.
Councilmember Pack.
Yes.
Well, you're not eligible.
I was gonna say I better not.
Council Chair Whitelock, I will withdraw.
Okay. Then we only have, unless you've changed your mind, if anyone's changed your mind, just push your button and I'll see your name. Otherwise, we have Councilmember Bloom and Councilmember Pack for vice chair. Ms. Hanson, if you'll run the run the process.
She's going to give you another pin.
Another paper from Miss Quick. Does anyone else have the Jeopardy song in their head? I mean, I just keep hearing that as this pause comes. No, none of you kids have that song in your mind. For 300, who is the mascot of West Jordan High School in West Jordan? Good job.
Is this the way we put fun and dysfunctional?
This is not dysfunctional. We are very functional. We're a functional group.
This is resolved in less than 14 additional rounds.
Right?
Yeah. If we can do it in less than 14 rounds, we're doing really good.
They got 15.
Yeah, there wasn't an abstain.
I'm sorry. So students, I want to know if you're here at the beginning of this assignment, or is this assignment due like tomorrow? Couple days today. Okay. We had a lot of students come in our last meeting in December. So I guess your quarter's almost over then. Oh, that's, you're here, you're getting it done. I can't read it. So
Okay, what I will tell you is Councilmember Bloom has received 4 votes, which is enough to be vice chair.
okay. So we have selected Councilmember McConaughey as chair and Councilmember Bloom as vice chair.
So can I think we talked about this earlier, Alan. Do I need to make the motion to put the 2 names on the resolution and then we vote for the resolution, right? So I'm going to make the motion.
Wait, hang on, Mr. Quayle. Okay.
I'm going to make the motion that we place on the resolution document Chris McConaughey as council chair, Pamela Bloom as council vice chair.
Just point of clarification, since this one's formal, Christopher rather than Chris.
That's what I just said.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Green and a second by Councilmember Jacob. Miss Quick, when you're ready.
Cindy, hold on. This is not the resolution. This is just putting the names on the resolution. And I think we can do that one by voice vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposed, that passes unanimously.
So now I'm going to move that we approve resolution number 23-001, certifying the 2023 election results for West Jordan City Council and Vice Chair, with Christopher McConaughey as chair and Pamela Bloom as vice chair.
Councilmember Worthen.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Green, a second by Councilmember Worthen. Miss Quick.
Councilmember Whitelock,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen,
Yes.
Councilmember Pack,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob,
Yes.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Thank you. I show that motion passes 7-0.
Now I will just ask Councilmember McConaughey if he'd like to switch seats or if he'd like me to finish.
I would like you to retain that one through the end of the meeting.
Okay. And just an FYI for Mr. Anderson. That seat should be available soon.
Yes, I will.
I am senior in more ways than one from you.
By
But I would relinquish if Melissa really wants it. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the discussion on selection on external boards and council subcommittees. Mr. Anderson, are you ready for that?
I am, but I can't get to my share screen on PowerPoint, so I'm working on that. However, what I can do is you received an updated list in the packet. There's some changes from what we've done previously. I'm going to see if Ms. Hanson can get it up on the screen. In 161, there is discussion, or there's mention of a West Jordan Youth Council. And I know a few of you have expressed an interest in getting something like that implemented for the next school year. There are several cities that I've already talked to about procedures to do that and policies. So I can work on that if there's a couple of you that would like to be part of the West Jordan Youth Council Committee.
I want to take it.
As the lead.
Yes.
And I'd be happy to be his second or assistant or whatever. Yes, I do think it'd be a good influence on children. And I'd be happy to serve with him.
There was also changes. So if you look at the worksheet in your packet, Ms. Hanson has this up. There's some changes there that we're going to bring to you or brings a proposal to you at the next work session on some changes to code that make it more accurate. I contacted all of these entities and got information with their bylaws. These are external committees that the council has a seat on. So for example, the ULCT has a legislative policy committee, which is called LPC. Their bylaws do not allow an alternate. The primary is the one who has the vote. Typically, it has been the chair. It doesn't require it to be the chair. They currently meet the second Monday monthly from noon to 1:30 during the lunch break. And then during the session, it's weekly. And the LPC consists of the mayor, a senior staff member, which right now is Tawny Barker, and one council member. So that's kind of the time commitment for that, for the LPC. And we can just go down the list if you want, or if there's a different way you want to do this.
I think I think going down the list is sufficient.
Okay, is there one of you that would be interested in being the legislative policy committee member?
I very much would like to. Nobody else.
Well, I think first we should go to
down the list, sorry.
Councilmember McConaughey
Okay.
because he's the chair and we've
Apologize.
done that.
No.
Okay. I like that committee, but I can let you do it.
I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put Ms. Bloom for the LPC. That is a voting member. Salt Lake COG, that stands for Council of Governments, and they meet looks like quarterly. It's not exactly, but January, May, August, November. Typically, it's the third Thursday at lunchtime. And in first-class cities, which West Jordan is, that consists of the mayor and one council member. There is no alternate. So knowing those 4 meetings a year, is there anyone that, any council member that would like to serve on the Salt Lake Council of Government?
Do they want to change their meeting to another day? Councilmember McConaughey, yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chamber West, I talked with Ms. Riddle, who is the president CEO. They have 2 boards, Council Councilmember Green is currently serving on both boards, which is allowed. They have a board of directors. When I talked to Ms. Riddle, that is a voting seat that's not transferable. So the board of director would need to be the board of director. The board of director can also serve on the board of governors, but there is an alternate allowed for the board of governors. Councilmember Green may be able to help me differentiate the dates. I did not put which one is which. On the odd months, the board meets from 7:30 to 9 a.m. on the third Thursday. And on the even months, so that's February, April, et cetera, they meet during lunch 12 to 1:30. And their bylaws allow the mayor and one council member, except for the board of governors can have an alternate.
Who would like to do that?
So that meeting schedule is for the Board of Governors or for the Board of Directors? Or
It's-
the same?
It's both. The board of governors meet on, like, I want to say the board of directors meets on the odd months and the board of governors meets on the
Okay.
even months.
Gotcha.
Councilmember Green can best.
I'm looking at my calendar. Board of Governors meets, the first meeting will be in January. So the Board of Governors meets at 7:30 in the morning. On the odd months, the Board of Directors meets the even months during lunch.
And those don't have to be the same person?
The board of directors do. The board of governors can have one person and it's the one person. And if that person can't make it, then the alternate can go.
Okay, so one person for both boards and then an alternate for the one board.
That's correct. You could do it that way if you'd like.
Okay. Well, if nobody else is all that interested, I'd be happy to do it.
Okay. Does anyone else have interest in it? No?
There's an alternate for the board of governors if the council desires to have one.
Put me down as the alternate, just in case, so if we need coverage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next one is Western Growth Coalition. This is one that is overseen by several cities, including West Jordan. It's legislative related. For this year, I talked with Ms. Susan Schilling, who's with the Mountain West Chamber of Commerce, which is Harriman, Riverton, Bluffdale. They meet typically the third Monday at 4 from the months of March to December. And January and February during the session, they typically meet weekly on a Saturday at the hospitals. I've listed that schedule for you. The dates are February 11th. That will be at the Riverton IHC Hospital. February 18th will be the U of U Daybreak Hospital. And February 25th will be at Jordan Valley Medical Center there on 90th South. And those meetings on those Saturdays run from 8 to 9:30. This one, their bylaws, it's open membership. There's not specifically a seat. They do choose a chair and a vice chair from among the members that participate. So there can be a primary and an alternate. That is typically what this council has done in previous years.
I've done it. I'm happy to continue doing it.
Is for the primary, is there an alternate that would like to participate with the Western Growth Coalition? Ms. Worthen, thank you.
Melissa.
The one that I took off of this one that will need to correct our code is the Wasatch Front Regional Council. That's something that we've done before. In talking with them, those members are actually selected by the members of COG, by Salt Lake COG. So it's not something that the council is able to appoint people to Wasatch Front Regional Council. The last one is specifically for city councils. This is the Association of Municipal Councils. They typically meet the second Tuesday at noon. The chair is chosen in January. The next meeting is this coming Tuesday on the 17th. I have the schedule for all of these. In fact, Councilmember Jacob, I have the 2023 chamber calendar that I can email you after this meeting. So they typically meet in the chair's city location. So this current year, Councilmember Shields in Harriman has been the chair. So this group has been meeting in Harriman. So this one does allow a chair and an alternate, a primary and an alternate, sorry.
Can someone tell me what they do?
Me.
Okay.
Chat, absolutely.
Okay.
I'd like to continue with that for more than one reason, and I won't disclose the one.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna get roped into being chair.
Okay,
Well,
that's,
maybe I'll come sit in on one of your meetings and see what they do. I've never really understood that. Okay.
that is one that I'm sorry. That's all I have for the external committees. The other committee that you've had previously has been the Jordan School District. Their governing documents don't give the city a seat, a liaison, so it's kind of a mix. Any of
They
you-
did. They had an interlocal agreement till they all let it expire.
So I've pulled that out. That is in our code. And again, I'm bringing some amendments to correct that. Is there an alternate for the Association of Municipal Councils?
If no one else wants to be, I'll be alternate on that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. The next one is the council subcommittees. These are the subcommittees that are mentioned in council rules. There are 6 of them. I don't know if I counted right. Yep, I did. The utility rate and enterprise funds, that committee discusses the utility rates with the finance folks and also works with the enterprise funds. And for those that are here, the enterprise funds are entities in the city that the city operates, but we have to operate them very similar to a business. An enterprise fund would be like the water department, the sewer department, those type of things. This committee, Ms. Steck would really like to meet with them in winter in preparation for the budget process to see what the council members have as ideas and thoughts, specifically as it relates to utility rates and enterprise funds. Typically, these committees run in groups of 3. There's a chair, a vice chair, and a committee member. So we'll start with the utility rates and enterprise fund.
Are we? I'm wondering, are we using that? Because we didn't meet a single time last year.
No, they didn't meet last year, but Ms. Stack would really like to get input from the members of that committee as it relates to utility rates and enterprise funds. And I know there's been some discussion with the utility fund transfers, fee waivers, dumpster programs, those type of things, and water rates.
I'd like to be on there and I'd be the chair if you wanted me to be.
That's not my choice.
Who else wants to be on it?
Is there anyone who would like to be a member of that committee? Councilmember Worthen, are you wanting to be vice chair of that committee? Okay.
Is there a third person that wants to serve with us? No?
Okay. The second committee is the land use subcommittee. That one, developers and applicants bring land use issues to, and they kind of get a feel from those 3 members of the council. They typically meet monthly. We vary the date depending on the makeup of the committee members. Typically try and hold that during the workday so that we have access to all the staff. So sometime between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday. So is there someone who would like to be on the land use subcommittee?
I'll do it, or someone else can do it. I don't
Hey,
need to be on it again. I've
Who
been on
wants to be the chair?
it. Who's on the committee? Who, have you got 3 on the committee?
Well, I said 4 raise their hands.
Okay,
And I don't know who wants to be chair and vice chair. Is it
Well,
Councilmember
Melissa.
Worthen as chair?
I'll be chair if nobody wants to.
Okay, Councilmember Green is chair, Councilmember Worthen is vice chair. Councilmember Bloom is the member of that committee. The General Plan Committee, this one really helped getting the General Plan Resident Committee organized and been going through general plan. This one, I would like to suggest making a couple, I don't want to say modifications, but have them meet as they need, but at least annually. As you're well aware, we had the moderate income housing plan that needed to be adopted and inserted in the general plan. And it would be nice to review those documents. There's also going to be some information coming back to you that you recommended at the last work session as it relates to the code and when the general plan gets updated and whether there's an annual review, a 5-year comprehensive update or a 10-year comprehensive update. I will have that information to you shortly. But this one, I feel it would be beneficial that they meet as they need to, but at minimum, at least once a year. Councilmember Green, do you want to be chair or vice chair or member?
Yes. Whatever works. I'll do chair again. One.
Okay, Councilmember Pack, do you want to be the vice chair?
Sure, I had the honor of serving on the general plan, so I think that experience could help out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And is there another person who would like to be a member of that committee?
You can call me if I'm available when you're meeting. I'll do it.
Okay,
But
we'll have to do like 2 asterisks.
okay,
Okay, the next committee that's in, next subcommittee that's in council rules is mayoral appointments. Right now, department heads, statutory committees such as planning commission and others are subject to be appointed by the mayor with the advice and consent of the city council. So this one, there's, I think, I don't want to say a heavy need, but a big need towards the end of the year when the end of year appointments come up for planning commission and such. So this one just varies based on the appointments of the mayor. This one will also have a chair, vice chair, and a member. And would you like to be chair?
I'm happy to continue in that capacity unless someone else feels that he or she would like to. Either way, I'll still serve on the committee unless there's other people that would like a turn.
And I didn't see a third, or did I miss it?
didn't
Yeah.
Councilmember
Councilmember
yeah,
Jacob?
Didn't you raise your hand?
Yeah, I'm on the tip for-
Yeah.
Is that how you want it to be? Or Councilmember Jacob, do you want to be vice chair, or I didn't really hear who wanted what?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all.
it's all copacetic. This is the same 3 as last time, I think, right?
Yeah.
So.
okay. The next one is council rules committee. This is one that reviews the council's policies and procedures or the rules that we use to govern the meeting. We're currently in a rewrite. It is a topic that will be on the work session next week to just review it before it gets adopted by the council. So again, this one would be very similar to the general plan where I think they can meet as needed, but at least annually go over the council rules and make sure that they're consistent. And when you're raising your hand, are you wanting to be chair?
Doesn't matter. I really want to be on this one though. So,
Okay, we'll just put you as chair first until I see more hands. Councilmember McConaughey, vice chair.
Just a question, please. Does it make sense to have the council leadership be on that committee since they are dealing with that already? Or does it make sense to have others involved for a check and a balance? Which would make most more sense?
Typically, the 3 years that I've been here, it's had some leaders on it, but it hasn't been consistently made of leaders. It's up to what the
Well,
majority
there's
of you
always going to
decide.
be one non-leader, right? Because it's 3 people. So
I don't so
My-
go
much,
ahead, Councilmember
I
McConaughey.
was gonna say, I don't so much care about leadership or not, just what I've seen with experience over the last decade of how to do things wrong, what works well. That's why I have an interest in that one.
I was gonna say, we've done it both ways and it works either way.
Yeah, and you know, to be fair, the entire council has to approve council rules. So it would take 4 of you to actually adopt the rules that you desire to adhere to. Is there a third member of council rules?
I thought you had 3.
I'll go.
Pamela
I'll go third if nobody else is on. it.
Okay, Councilmember Jacob.
Yeah, future attorney. That'd be a good.
And I
for
will
you.
email the 3 of you the current draft, probably first thing in the morning, just so you've got a copy of the draft. The last one, I already see a chair raising their hand. The last one is the Budget and Audit Committee. This one is, if I remember, Ms. Steck, this was kind of statutory, we have to have a Budget and Audit Committee made up of members of the City Council. This one will work with the Finance Department on preparing next year's budget. It'll be a resource for Ms. Steck and her team. There's a chair, vice chair, and a member. They're typically pretty heavy meetings, March to June. And then once we receive the audit from the auditors, there's meetings in November and December to go over the audit report and any issues that come up. This committee is also mistake. This one is also if the see something, say something, fraud.
This is required for that risk score.
Yeah, so if there's any employee that sees something that is a potential for fraud, it gets reported through an anonymous line, and that is reviewed by Ms. Steck and the 3 members of this committee as they arise. So are there 3? We have a chair with Councilmember Worthen, Councilmember Bloom. Do either of you want to be vice? You got to kind of tell me, or I'm going to guess.
I don't care. It's not like.
Okay, well. So the last one is the committee of the whole. The committee of the whole is a function of Robert's rules that allows you to do procedural motions. That's kind of one of the reasons I suggested we start moving to committee of the whole, whether it's 2 meetings or 3 meetings. It really doesn't matter. This, though, is already defined. You've already made these selections. So the committee of the whole, the chair is Councilmember McConaughey, and the vice chair is Councilmember Bloom, and all of you are members of that committee. And so the last one is just if there's any, I got a 3rd spot there for utility rates and enterprise funds.
There was a member of the community that was twisting my arm by text to do that. So I'm not gonna throw that member of the community under the bus.
You're not supposed
So-
to be looking at your phone while you're on the dais, but okay.
It's not, I'm not communicating between council members, so I'm okay.
All right, so we have Councilmember Green. This one does not need any kind of formal motion. We will process this. I will get a document out to all of you that have these assignments. I will also give you the calendars as I have them from those external committees. Councilmember Pack.
Thank you. Question. We've had additional subcommittees in the past, like Healthy West Jordan and Sister City and lots of others. Are we not going to make any selection for those at this time? I didn't see anything in the email that you send out or in this great form that you made. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes, I did not include those because our city code just says may appoint. It's not a requirement. Not all of those internal executive committees are functioning. They're really mayoral committees. Council members are ex officio non-voting members. I think you can work with those committees directly. I don't think it needs formal action necessarily by the council because it's not required. The committees can function with or without a council member assigned to them.
Thank you.
I'm sure if you wanted to attend one, the mayor would be more than happy to allow you to attend though. So.
Thank you. Yes, I've been networking with Healthy West Jordan Committee on a monthly basis. So happy to continue doing so, but didn't want to overstep the bounds of protocol. So
Yeah, there's no overstep. Council members can participate on any of those. It's a may, again, not a shall. They are mayoral committees, they're mayor executive committees. And you would be a non-voting ex officio member.
thank you.
Even if we had them as committee assignments, you'd still be a non-voting member.
That's correct.
So,
That's correct. But it's not required.
right. All right. We have a lot of lights on. Do you have something to say, Councilmember Worthen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to put me, did you need 3 for the youth committee? You had 2. Did you need a 3rd?
We can do 3 if you want to do youth committee.
As the primary and the alternate.
Well, I
But
put, it
we would
doesn't
be happy to have
specify.
a third person to help us.
Okay, yeah, I'll do the 3rd.
Okay,
Perfect.
so we'll put 3 on the youth committee. And that's all I have for these 2 items.
Okay, perfect. Moving on, we have consent items. We have approving minutes from June 1st. Thankfully, Ms. Quick found that when she was uploading or downloading to PrimeGov, that one hadn't been done. December 7th meetings. Do I have a motion?
Chair, before you do that, may I just give some clarity on that June 1st for the benefit of the council?
2 minutes.
I'll have less than that. As we moved the import of the PrimeGov data from January of 2020 to June of 2022, when we started using PrimeGov, Cindy went through and audited everything that they uploaded, and through that process found that the June 1st, 2022 minutes had not been approved. That was would have happened right as we were transitioning from our old way of doing it to the Prime Gov system. And so we have completed the audit of all of that going back to January 2020, and they're all correct and approved.
Perfect. Councilmember Pack.
Well, thank you, Chair. A question on that, Mr. Anderson, especially since you're our resident parliamentarian. When we've transitioned to having more committee of the whole meetings, well, in June 1st was a committee of the whole, especially since we had 4 people present, 3 people absent, bare majority. Is there any protocol on approving minutes with members who are absent, whether or not they watch a recording? Should we be, because we weren't there and weren't privy to the conversation, is it best practice to approve or abstain when you're not present, especially in this circumstance, since it was a bare majority that was there?
I'm going to refer that to Mr. Quayle, the attorney, because that's kind of not parliamentarian. That's more a legal definition.
Well, the consent agenda, as you know, is an up or down vote for every item on the consent agenda. So if there was a concern, I was absent from one of these 3 meetings, for example, you'd have to pull that from the consent agenda first. And then an individual could abstain from that vote. But as long as the minutes have been reviewed, they can vote. Best practice is to feel comfortable that it's accurate. I mean, they are recorded on can be reviewed on YouTube and all the resources that are available. But if someone did want to abstain because they were absent, it would require the item be removed from the consent agenda first.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Move to approve all consent items.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember McConaughey, a second by Councilmember Green. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Next up on our agenda is council office report. Mr. Anderson.
I don't have anything to report today. Thank you.
Whoa, mark that down in history, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is city council remarks. If you'd like to chime in, just show your light. Councilmember Pat.
Well, thank you, Chair. First of all, I just wanted to thank all city employees who don't necessarily get a lot of recognition. I'm thinking to the Copper Hills Parkway event where we as council members were recognized, the mayor was recognized, we have our staff that was recognized, but there's so many people that work behind the scenes, the people putting the signs up and taking the other signs down. And I just feel that we're all in this together. And I just want to make sure that everyone is recognized. It's not about us being in the spotlight. We're supposed to be the servants of not only the residents, but also to support our city employees and staff. Please, Mr. Lee and Mayor Burton, if you could pass along and hopefully it's not an embellishment to speak on behalf of the council to just tell everybody thank you for all of the cogs of the wheels of the city that go on as I have gone through ride-alongs with police or fire or EMT or the recent snow plows that Councilmember Bloom and I were on a snowy night. It's amazing the institutional knowledge that our employees have and certainly want to take care of them. It would be a lot more expensive to lose that institutional knowledge. Also, thank you for the weekly a newsletter that comes out to keep us informed of what is going on in the city with things like the Veterans Memorial Master Plan. And we've had, well, I wrote down it was 7,693 calls for the fire department. I'd like to know why, what's going on. Hopefully we didn't have almost 7,700 fires, but and it's an increase from the previous year. Why is that? But it does keep us informed. So thank you very much. And best wishes to Mr. Quayle. I have full confidence you'll continue being a cool dad, as you put on your email. Welcome to our assistant CAO. And my type A personality is wondering why Rob Wall served 39 years instead of 40. Just, it should. It's got to be an even number, seriously. And best wishes to our newly elected council leadership, and thank you to our council leadership that served this previous year. It's an honor serving with all of you. I'm grateful for what I learn in collaborative discussion with all of you. It's wonderful that we have 7 different backgrounds and we're able to learn from one another and listen to one another. I am grateful for our council staff as well. As I mentioned, even forums like the one that they put out to try to organize all of our service opportunities. And also a question on the state of the county event on January 23rd. I've heard about that from a few different elected officials, and also we received the email, but is there anything that we as a city need to do? Because it's held in our city at the Viridian. Is that something that's going to be taken care of from the mayor's department? Do you know anything about that, Mr. Lee?
I don't know if we're
It's at the county
participating in any
library.
way. It's a county,
Right,
yeah, a county event, but
sure.
we'll certainly be supportive.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Worthen.
Let's see, this is the beginning of my 4th year, and I started the beginning of my first year with a shout out, and because I always believe in ending as a positive, and I wanted to give my first shout out of my last year on council to our chair and our vice chair. You guys did an incredible job this year. I know you spent a lot of hours. Kaylee and I very much appreciate all of the updates that you sent. Calvin, your dedication, taking the time, really putting the time in to make sure that we, the 7 of us, got all the information that we need to get. So I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys and say thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Vice Chair Green.
Thanks for letting me be vice chair the last couple of years. Just a couple of things. One, I want to give a good thank you and big appreciation to the city streets crew and the parks crews, because the parks, if you didn't know this in the city, the parks crews plow sidewalks in places that people don't, anyway, in safe school zones and all kinds of other things. The parks guys actually plow sidewalks. So I'm looking at the snow water map this year, and our region is 213% of normal, which means we've had twice as much snow. Well, we had twice as much snow as normal, which means we've had 6 times as much snow as we did the last 3 years combined. So the street guys have been amazing, and we appreciate that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that if you notice, we did get approval from Department of Workforce Services that our moderate income housing plan was finally in compliance, which we never had a doubt that it was. But one of the things when I read their email and read their letter was that we have to, at the end of the year, actually report on all of our land use decisions and how they affected moderate income housing. And the strategies under moderate income housing. So the other day when I was laying there, since I was still on the land use committee at the time, I actually put a spreadsheet together and documented all of our land use issues from July to now. And we'll continue to maintain that. I've sent a copy of it to Larry, and I sent a copy to the other land use committee members, and I'll send a copy to the new land use committee members if that's changed, just so that we can keep track, so that when we get to the spring, we can, the general plan committee can meet, we can talk about them, do what we need to do, and help Larry get his report done and make things easier and better compliance with. And it's so scary that I know this. It's Utah Code Title 10 9A Section 408. And that actually scares me even worse than the fact that I know what the moderate income housing plan is. And I look forward to try to get the youth committee at the youth council up and running. I think that will be a fun project, and hopefully we can get that up and running maybe partially this spring and get it into full gear by next September. So when school starts. So I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Bloom.
I'm absolutely grateful to leadership, and thank you for this past year as a newbie, the only newbie on the council. So Kayleen, thank you very much for your leadership and for Wow, why am I getting emotional? I appreciate it and I look forward to continuing making some good adjustments to our city this next year with you and the rest of the council as well. And I got to do a ride along with the police, and Chief Wallentyne is brilliant. And to see who he brings in and staffs on our police force, we have a police force that looks like our city. We have a police force that's diverse like our city. And what a testament to the chief for bringing that on, because the residents react so well when they have someone who looks like them and comes from their background on the police force. And I think that is just tremendous for our city, and being able to do these ride-alongs, and yes, with the plows, is very eye-opening and just so vital to being able to make better decisions up here. And I look forward to an awesome year and working with the staff and having a great council and not get jumbled with emotions.
Thank you. Today, I got to go to the Jordan Education Foundation luncheon, and for students, that is a part of Jordan School District that raises money and then provides things for you via your teachers or the principal's pantry. At Christmas time, there's an opportunity for students that don't have funding to be able to go shop with depends, it used to be Shop with a Cop, but it's become such a big program that you shop with some adult from the community. So it's a great organization. It's a great place when you're older to maybe look at paying it forward. It's a good place to donate to. They do a lot of good work. Your teachers can file for grants. And so if they want something extra for your classroom, instead of using their own money, they can apply for a grant and get it. One of the schools is using some of the money from the foundation to buy earbuds that are translation earbuds for students that are learning English. So what an amazing technology to be able to provide. That would be a great thing. I would love to have had that when I went on vacation this summer, because not knowing the language puts you at a very big disadvantage. I tried to find something, a medical thing for my foot, and I didn't get exactly the right thing because I didn't have my language skills down, and Google let me down a little bit. So know that that's a great opportunity. It was fun to see the mayor and many, many friends that I have were at that luncheon. So that was a great opportunity to learn more about what they're doing, and oh my gosh, how much money they're raising, a lot more than they used to. So that's awesome, because we have a lot more students than we used to. I appreciate our residents and their willingness to reach out to us and share their thoughts. Councilmember Green mentioned a community member reached out and spoke in favor of the senior meals and how invaluable that's been in her life. And it helps us when residents reach out to their elected officials. It's very helpful. So thank you for those that do. The last thing is my council chair housekeeping item. And just once again, I want to thank my fellow council members for the opportunity to serve in this position, to have this opportunity, and to staff for being willing to work with me and always answer my questions, especially to Rodney, that's always my tech support. So it's kind of interesting to have two screens to participate and get it all going. So thank you. The next thing I'm going to do.
Can I make a motion?
Well, yes, but I was going to invite our students. I was going to let them know that we're done. So you're welcome to be done. You can leave. Councilmember Green.
I'm going to make a motion that the West Jordan City Council temporarily recess the meeting to convene in a closed session to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual, pending or reasonably imminent litigation, the purchase, exchange, or lease of real property, or the sale of real property, including any form of water right or water shares as provided by Utah Code Section 52-4-205.
We have a motion by Councilmember Green. I will second that motion. So is there, Ms. Steck, please a vote. Quick.
Councilmember Jacob,
Sure, yes.
Councilmember Pack,
Yes.
Councilmember Worthing,
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitelock,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes 7-0.
And now I have to invite you to leave because we are going to close the doors and have this meeting.
Congratulations. It's great.
That's, I was thinking.
Let me share with you.